World Literature Series Part 3 Russian Literature. Welcome back to the World Literature Series for UGC NET JRF English. In this episode, we travel to Russia, a land of profound thinkers, tragic heroes, and some of the most psychologically intense literature ever written. Russian literature gave the world a new definition of human soul, suffering, and morality. Let's explore the most influential 30 Russian writers every net aspirants must know. Our first author is Alexander Pushkin from 1799 to 1837. His major works are Eugene Onegin and The Bronze Horseman. Summary blends romance, satire, and philosophical reflection in poetic form. Significance, known as the father of Russian literature, introduced modern Russian language and poetic realism. Our next author is Nikolai Gogol from 1809 to 1852. His major works are Dead Souls, The Overcoat, and The Government Inspector. Summary it's a satirical tales exposing corruption and absurdity in Russian society. Significance pioneer of Russian realism and absurdist humor, influenced Dostoevsky. Now we move to our third author, Ivan Turgenev, from 1818 to 1883. Major works Father and Sons, A Sportsman's Sketches. Summary It is a realistic portrayal of generational conflict and social change. Significance It is a bridge between Romanticism and realism, introduced the nihilist figure. The author is Fyodor Dostoevsky from 1821 to 1881. His major works are Crime and Punishment and The Brother Karamazov, The Idiot. Crime and Punishment is very important from the net point of view. Summary It explores guilt, redemption, morality, and faith. Significance Master of psychological fiction, shaped existential and moral philosophy of literature. Now we move to very important author Leo Tolstoy from 1828 to 1910. His major works are War and Peace, Anna Karenina, and the Death of Ivan Ilyich. War and Peace and Anna Karenina are the must-read literary works by Tolstoy. Summary Epic novels of love, war, and spirituality. Significance Universal humanist, one of the greatest realistic novelists in the world history. Next author is very important author from net point of view is Anton Chekhov from 1860 to 1904. His major works The Cherry Orchard, The Seagull, Uncle Vanya, War Number 6. All the literary works are very important. Summary, subtle dramas and short stories about everyday life and inner emptiness. Significance revolutionized modern drama and the short story form. Our next author is very important, Maxim Gorky from 1868 to 1936. His major works are The Lower Depth and Mother. Mother is a world famous novel by Gorky, published in 1906, and it is a story of an ordinary woman's political reawakening. Summary depicts life of oppressed and revolutionary spirit, significance, founder of the socialist realism, voice of the working class. I highly recommend to read the summary of the novel Mother. And our next author is Ivan Goncharov from 1812 to 1891. His major work, Oblomov, Summary, it is a satire of laziness and indecision in Russian gentry life. Significance it is a symbol of Russian passivity, precursor to modern psychological fiction. Our next author is Mikhail Lermontov from 1840 to 1841. Major work A Hero of Our Time. Summary It is a romantic novel analyzing the disillusioned Byronic hero. You should read Who is Baranik Hero. Significance continued Pushkin's legacy, early existentialist themes. Now we move to our next author, who is Alexander Ostrovsky from 1823 to 1886. His major work, The Storm and the Forest. Summary: it is a realistic social dramas on Russian merchant life. Its significance is he's father of Russian national drama. Our 11th author is Alexander Blok from 1880 to 1921. His major works are The Twelve and the Verses about the Beautiful Lady. Summary: symbolist poetry reflecting spiritual and revolutionary tensions and significances, key symbolist poet connecting mysticism and revolution. And our next author is Ivan Bunin from 1870 to 1953. He won Nobel Prize in 1933. His major works The Village, Dark Avenue. He didn't win Nobel Prize for any specific book, but his autobiographical novel, The Life of Arsenev, played a decisive role in his recognition. Summary: realistic and poetic depiction of Russian peasantry. Significance: first Russian Nobel laureate in literature, master of short fiction. Our next author is Boris Pasternak from 1890 to 1960. He won Nobel Prize in 1958 when it was announced that Boris Pasternak had been awarded the 1958 Nobel Prize. He was forced to decline it at the behest of Soviet authorities who had banned his novel Dr. Zhivago. His major work is Dr. Zhivago. Summary: it is an epic story of love and revolution in early 20th century Russia. Significance: symbol of artistic integrity against political censorship. Now we move with Mikhail Bulgakov from 1891 to 1940. His major works: The Master and Margarita. Summary: it is a magical realist satire on Soviet society blending fantasy and real religion. Significance: one of the most original 20th century novel allegory of truth and freedom. Our 15th author is Vladimir Mayakovsky from 1893 to 1930. His major work, A Cloud in Trousers, Lenin. Summary: futurist revolutionary poetry celebrating modernity and socialism. Significance: voice of avant garde and revolutionary art. Our next author is Anna Akhmatova from 1889 to 1966. She's also an important writer. Major works Requiem and The White Flock. Summary: lyrical poetry expressing grief, oppression, and endurance. And significance is she is a great female poet of Russia, symbol of artistic resistance under Stalinism. Our 17th author is Osip Mandelstam from 1891 to 1938. His major works Tristia and the Noise of Time. Summary: symbolist poetry of exile, art, and divines. Significance: martyr of poetic truth under Soviet terror. Now we move to our next author, Marina Tsveteva from 1892 to 1941. Major works Poem of the End and The Red Ketchup. Summary: it is an intense lyrical poetry of love, exile, and despair. Significance: iconic modernist female voice in Russian literature. Isaac Babel from 1894 to 1940. His major works are Red Cavalry and Odessa Tales. Summary: brutal yet poetic accounts of war and Jewish life. Significance: merged realism and modernist irony executed during Stalinist purges. Now we move to our next 20th author, Andrei Platonov, from 1899 to 1951. His major works: The Foundation Pit, Schwenger. Summary: allegorical novels exploring utopia, despair, and humanity. Significance: surreal, visionary critique of Soviet idealism. Our next author is Alexander Solzhenitsyn from 1980 to 2008. He won Nobel Prize in 1970. Major works: One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich, The Gulag Archipelago. Summary: it exposes brutality of Soviet labor camps. Significance: it is a voice of moral resistance and truth and revived moral realism. Now we move to author number 22, Mikhail Sholokhov. From 1905 to 1984, he won Nobel Prize in 1965. Major work: And Quiet Flows the Dawn. Summary: epic of Cossack life during the Revolution and Civil War. Significance: represented Soviet realism at its finest artistic level. Now we move with the author 23, Yevgeny Zamyatin, from 1884 to 1937. Major work: We. Summary: it is a dystopian novel about a totalitarian future state. Significance: precursor to Orwell's 1984 and Huxley's Brave New World. It is also an important writer from UGC NET point of view. Now we move to next author 24, Vladimir Nabokov, from 1899 to 1977. He is a must read and most important writer. Major works: Lolita, Pale Fire, Speak Memory. His Lolita is banned novel. Summary: complex narrative exploring art, obsession, and memory. Significance: Russian American modernist genius, stylistic innovator. Next author is Daniel Carms, from 1905 to 1942. Major work: Today I Wrote Nothing, Incidences. Summary: absurdist short fiction challenging logic and realism. Significance: he pioneered of absurdist prose and surrealist humor. Next author is Joseph Brodsky, from 1940 to 1996. He won Nobel Prize in 1987. His major works are A Part of Speech, Less Than One. Summary: poetic meditations on exile, memory, and identity. Significance: exiled poet philosopher, continued Russian moral tradition. Next one is Alexander Blok, from 1880 to 1921. His major works: The Twelve, The Scythians, Verses about the Beautiful Lady. Summary: a leading symbolist poet, Bloch's works capture the spiritual crisis and revolutionary transformation of Russia in the early 20th century. His mystical and musical style bridges the romantic idealism of 19th century with the disillusionment of modern times. Significance: Bloch represents the soul of Russia on the verge of revolution, a major poetic influence on the Akhmatova, Pasternak, and Mayakovsky. His poetry connects art, prophecy, and politics and visionary language. Next one is Victor Pelowin, from 1962 to present time. Major works: The Life of Insects and Generation P. Summary: postmodern novels mixing satire, philosophy, and mysticism. Significance: voice of post Soviet irony and consumer culture critique. Her next one is Lyudmila Ulitskaya, from 1943 to present date. Major works: The Big Green Tent, Daniel Stan, Interpreter. Summary: it is a realistic fiction on human dignity and history. Significance: contemporary moral realist women's perspective in modern Russia. Now we are doing our last author, Svetlana Alexievich, from 1948 to present date. She won Nobel Prize in 2015. Major works: Voices from Chernobyl, The Unwomanly Face of War. Summary: documentary prose giving voice to ordinary people's suffering. Significance: pioneer of oral literature, moral conscience of modern Russia. And that was our deep dive into Russian literature, one of the most powerful voices in the world literature. In the next episode, we'll move to American literature from Hawthorne and Melville to Faulkner, Hemingway, and Toni Morrison. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for the complete world literature series. Keep learning, keep reading, and remember, world literature simplified for every net aspirant and literature lover. Thank you for watching. Follow for more.